Hi, Sophie.
Hi, Mummy Bear.
How are you?
I'm doing well. We are away at the moment, but I did manage to get in some last-minute weeding.
In the veg garden.
In the veg garden.
Much
It,
needed.
yeah, it'd become a forest for some reason, and I was kind of like, oh, crikey. So I just kind of battled in there. I went, pew, 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 pew,
Yeah.
got all of the weeds out, and it's now looking very nice.
Hopefully it'll stay like that, because it wasn't that long ago that I weeded it. So I don't know why it's so bad. I think a lot of seeds are in the compost, probably. And also I think you've been hoeing, haven't you? So you're moving away from no dig, churning it up a bit, disturbing the soil.
I hoed once, and it was very much on the surface, and it was just to try and scrape the weeds off a bit. But yeah, I don't think that'll work, so I'm going to just go with my usual plan of weeding.
Good idea.
Yeah. And also, I did want to say, I got a suntan! Hooray! The crowd goes wild! Everybody's happy! I got a suntan!
Well done.
I was very happy.
People aren't going to think I keep you in a cupboard under the stairs anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I got a load of strimming in, and not much to report there, other than I'd let it get very long, so it's a lot of hard work, and I really felt all my muscles working.
I felt really sorry for you afterwards, because you just went through it and you did it so well as well.
Well, this has to be done, doesn't it? It's the job that I would give up if I could afford to have someone else do it, for sure. I'm my least favourite thing to do.
Yeah, I am so grateful you do it, and
Although I don't think I'd mind if our land was flat. It's the fact that it's on a hill that just makes it really treacherous. So I quite like going around and neatening off edges and
that's
bits and
lovely.
pieces. That's quite enjoyable.
Yeah.
So maybe we just need to move, get some flat land.
Yeah, exactly.
And then also been cleaning out the pond. We've still got loads of blanket weed, so scooping great big dollops of that out, putting it on the side, and then picking through it with my fingers and pulling out dragonfly nymphs. And we've got tadpoles, various types.
And a lot of toad poo.
And a lot of toad poo is occurring. But it seems relatively healthy.
It does, doesn't it?
But not a lot to report.
No.
Well, we have got a load of beans. Beans coming through.
Yeah, we've got some aqua dulce.
Yeah, they're delicious.
They are very cool.
So we're munching our way through that. And we have some chard. So I made a chard pesto, which I put on top of some trout. And that baked it. It was really yummy.
Yeah, super good.
Recommend that recipe. Right, we had some housekeeping from last week.
Oh, yeah.
Sweet pea, your pear-shaped tomato.
Yeah, which I actually realised was the complete opposite way round. So pear-shaped is kind of like a teardrop shape to it, whereas mine is the opposite. Turn it upside down, it kind of points at the end.
It's still pear-shaped, though.
It's an upside-down pear.
You've got it sitting on your plate. You turn it the right way up and make it a pear shape.
Okay, that's a very, very good point. But it's a tomato called Shimmer, and it's really pretty because it's got these multicoloured kind of tigery stripes to it. It looks a bit like the Tigerella tomato that you can get, but more multicoloured and smaller.
So that was the only housekeeping I had.
Yep.
So shall we have a look at fun facts?
I think we should.
Do you want to go first this time?
Right, well...
Plant fun fact, Sweet Pea.
It's a plant fun fact, and it's about a specific fruit, and it is about pineapples, and I've decided I'm going to do a trilogy on pineapples.
All right.
So throughout the next 3 episodes, including this one, we're going to be talking all about pineapples, and so this time we're going to be talking about the seal of approval of a pineapple. Do you see where I'm going with this? Because it was first kind of brought to Europe by obviously Christopher Columbus, and I think that was in around about 1493, and he brought all of these pineapples that he had found in Guadeloupe, and he brought them to Spain to the King Ferdinando, but only one was not rotten, and Ferdinando was so amazed by this one pineapple that was not rotten and thought it was utterly amazing, and he pronounced it as the superior fruit to all others, which is really cool. And then pineapples became this kind of symbol of this kind of status symbol where you were very kind of high up and you kind of had one of those proper households, if you see what I mean. You had a proper reputation if you had a pineapple.
This reminds me of Ghosts.
Yes.
What was that character called?
No.
We're not going to remember.
No.
If anyone watches Ghosts, the BBC, brilliant BBC comedy series.
Watch it if you haven't watched it.
There was a character in that, and she was talking about pineapples. No, it wasn't Mary.
No. Kitty.
Kitty, that's
Kitty,
it.
yes.
Well done.
Because then the next thing I was going to say is that they were often rented as a dinner party centerpiece.
Oh, rented?
And, yeah, like you would rent a pineapple.
Wow. But how long? They don't last long. We already know that they arrived rotten. All of them.
I have no idea how this worked, but they would rent them and then it would be kind of on the table. And that's a very good point. Kitty from Ghosts in the flashbacks to kind of when she was sitting at her table at her household, they had rented this pineapple. They talked all about how it was so amazing.
Yeah.
So I thought that's a kind of nice introduction to what's going to come on the trilogy
fantastic.
of pineapples.
Well, there are lots of interesting facts about pineapples.
Yeah.
Was there any mention in your research about why just about every country calls them something like ananas? So in French it's ananas, I think in Spanish it's anano. Anania.
I have no idea
but
what they call
ananas
them.
comes into the name for every language apart from us, where we call it a pineapple.
You know what? I promise you for next episode, I will look up in many different languages how you say pineapple and see what it is that's going on. Okay, I promise you that.
I look forward to this trilogy.
Yes.
I do love ananas. Pineapple. Fun
pineapple.
facts.
Yep. What was your fun fact?
Well, my fun fact is, did you know that sloths only poo once a week?
Cool, blimey.
This is because they have a very slow metabolism, as we know. And so it takes a long time for them to digest their diet.
Oh, okay.
And also the other thing is it's in their best interest. You and I would think, oh no, only once a week, that's not good.
Yeah.
That wouldn't feel good at all.
No.
I wouldn't be happy with that.
No, exactly.
But a sloth thinks this is good news, that the fewer times I go for a poo, the better, because they have to climb out of the trees and onto the ground. And they're very, very slow. And so they're extremely vulnerable at that moment when they need to defecate.
Oh, that's such a good point.
Poor little things. All in all, it's good news for sloths.
That's a good news for sloths. I have no idea why this has brought up this thing that my biology teacher told me the other day, but humans are able to have up to 3 litres of pee inside of them. They can hold 3 litres of pee inside of us.
Our bladders can hold 3 litres.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Like, isn't that awesome?
Can you ask your biology teacher on that subject if we're able to hold 3 litres happily inside ourselves of pee?
Yeah.
Why is it that it's as we're getting our key into the front door that we then are so desperate to go that we don't quite make it to the toilet?
Oh no, it's because of the immediate thought. You start relaxing. Like, must be something like
I'm
that.
not relaxing. I'm as tense as they come.
I'm as tense as they come.
Could you ask her? I'd be interested in that.
Gosh,
That's
I feel
your
sorry
homework
for my biology teacher.
this week. Well, I heard some interesting news this week.
Oh, yes.
About a Dutch startup company who are called Respire. But spelled Respyre.
Okay.
And they've developed a bioreceptive cement that can cover all your vertical surfaces in moss.
My gosh, that is so cool.
Well, I think there's still a lot of tweaking it needs to happen.
Yeah.
And a lot of questions being asked, because the process is they mix traditional cement with organic matter like coconut fibre or peat moss.
Oh, okay, interesting.
And they spray the surface with a mixture of water, buttermilk and moss spores.
Oh, crikey.
So that the moss starts to grow quickly, and then the moss can cover the surface within a couple of months.
Oof.
The issue is that you have to keep that cement wet for a period of time for the moss to grow.
Okie dokes.
And the concern is, you remember we've had Arit talk on Gardener's World about moss before, and the incredible properties of moss.
It's amazing.
Positives are that it absorbs huge amounts of CO2. So, it'll purify the air around us in our sort of concrete jungles.
Oh, yeah, completely. And can you imagine if you used that bioluminescent moss? I mean, I think you can only find it in caves. But can you imagine having that on your walls? It would just be light up,
I wonder if they have considered the bioluminescent ones.
Shine bright like a diamond.
But other good properties of this is it provides insulation for the buildings as well.
Oh, of course.
But the water needs to go on. And Arit said about how much water they absorb, and they're like sponges, aren't they?
Yeah, completely.
So if you've got walls that are just absorbing all this
Spongy.
water, what impact is it going to have when you've got freezing temperatures, for example? Because I think I've read that a square metre of moss can hold 5 litres of water, so it's an incredible amount.
It's a huge
Anyway,
amount. It's
there are
amazing.
obviously those concerns. They have just started up, and it's interesting to see where this goes, because I like the principle of it.
I
Seems a
love
really good
it.
idea, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But they have some Q&As, and some of the questions have been asked, like, what would happen to the moss in drought? And they say that the moss doesn't actually die. It does go brown,
Yeah.
but it doesn't die. So you can have an option of having an irrigation system on your mossy walls.
Oh my God.
So
which
therefore
seems
utilising
mad.
more water
Yeah.
to make your walls green. So
Yes.
there's still quite a bit of work to be done on it. But I like the idea of green walls as opposed to grey walls in cities. So.
Oh, completely. And it's interesting because we had a chat the other day whilst we were having a drink. We talked about, if we could imagine it, what would be a dream house that we'd love to live in? And I couldn't choose. You couldn't choose where or what kind of type house or anything. But thinking about it, I would love it to have as many walls covered in green, like climbers or kind of dangling things down from the roof, or I have no idea, bamboos, just having lots of screens of green across the walls.
Bamboos across your walls?
No, but like in troughs or something like that next to the wall.
Okay.
Or like plants going up it. I just know that I need green on the walls.
Yeah, wisterias and climbing roses.
Yeah.
And
But you know how you
honeysuckles.
Yeah.
Clematis.
But you know how when you have indoor gardens, you have all these plants kind of dangling down from shelves. Kind of indoor plants. Well, I'd love that, but they're on the outside. Dangling down almost from the roof slightly. Like a trickle of kind of green down the walls.
Oh, so like vines hanging down.
Exactly.
Oh, interesting.
That's what I would like.
Oh, that's never crossed my mind. When we did have this chat about our house.
It hadn't crossed my mind either until you told me about these green walls, and then I thought, oh, of course.
That's what you'd like, just
I would
green.
love, yeah.
Like you're in a jungle.
Exactly.
Okay, great.
That's going to be me.
I'll put a link to this company, Respire, on our pod notes, because it is an interesting read. And it'd be interesting to watch this space, I think, and see if they can develop it a bit more. And see if they can come up with solutions to some of those concerns.
Yeah.
But it's a good starting point, isn't it?
I find it very interesting.
Well, I think we should have a look at this latest Gardener's World.
Yeah, we're back with Monty, aren't we?
We are. So shall we go through it?
Absolutely.
This is Gardener's World 2025, Episode 10 Recap.
Yep.
Monty's in the cottage garden and he's admiring his forget-me-nots.
He is, the beautiful kind of blue mist that they're creating everywhere.
And he's talking about them being biennials, and on that subject he's also putting in some biennial foxgloves.
Yeah, he is, isn't he? The kind of digitalis purpurea. So they give this really nice kind of slightly lilac-y, pinky purple.
Yeah,
it's very pretty.
Beautiful. And we had only just the other day been talking about foxgloves, hadn't we? Because I was saying how nice it would be to have foxgloves in amongst our bank of nettles, because I think that's a really pretty combination.
Gorgeous combination.
A slightly wild vibe to it.
Yeah, I love foxgloves.
And I had sown a load of foxglove seeds on a long strip of fleece with soil.
Yeah.
With compost, and done that snail technique.
Yeah, that was
where I
when we were
then
doing
rolled
our
it up
snails.
into a big kind of wodge.
Yeah.
And then we had that sitting on the windowsill and would water it regularly.
Yep.
Until all these little seedlings came up, of which we had hundreds.
We did.
And you've potted those on, haven't you?
Yep, I have, and I put them into little pots, and they're doing really well in the greenhouse. And I'm soon going to put them outside. Just want them to get a bit bigger because they will get attacked by the slugs otherwise.
How many do we have?
Okay, I'm going with about 8 times by 2, 8, 16. Going with 16 about.
Right.
Because I think I've got 8 across and 2 large.
That's not too bad.
Yeah.
Do slugs eat them?
Well, because I have put one out in this kind of cutting flower bed, And I walked past it the other day and it's really been munched at, which is quite interesting. I didn't think that slugs went for foxgloves.
I didn't think so either.
Don't know why, but that's very interesting.
Well, I think because I always think of them as being poisonous.
Yeah, of course. So you just kind of think...
I just assumed that slugs wouldn't be interested either, but
no.
What do I know?
Slugs are just like, hey.
Also, Monty was digging up his cut flower bulbs. He had tulips and daffs that he said were over now.
Yeah.
And he recommends replacing bulbs if using them for cut flowers and recycle the old ones elsewhere.
Exactly, put them into like banks of flowers or kind of wild areas. And then he was going to be adding in, he was sowing the seeds of some different cosmos. There was double click cranberries and sonata mix, which are apparently a slightly shorter hybrid, which is rather interesting because my cosmos always get absolutely huge, like proper tall ones, even
very
though
leggy.
I pinch them to
Do you
keep
think
them.
that's partly because the soil's too good and fertile there?
I don't know. I mean, some are just very tall, I think, but it's perfect.
Too tall, really, I think.
I like them because they cover the whole fence, and so I can just tie them up against the fence and they stay upright.
Yeah, it's all right if they're tied up, but they spend most of their time flopping over into the path.
Yeah. Usual thing.
Monty was jabbering away to little Robin who came, who just sat there watching.
Oh, wasn't that sweet?
And then we're over to Carol Klein's place, and this is the second episode in her little mini-series, and this time we're looking at late spring flowers.
Yeah, because she did her episode a few weeks ago on the early spring flowers. Those are really pretty, and now we're doing late spring. And then I think she said she's going to be doing early summer and late summer, and then I don't know what she's doing after that, but I hope we got lots of flowers to keep us going as long as possible.
That would be lovely.
Completely.
So she's looking at the Lamia movala dead nettle. She's very pretty with a speckledy pink flower.
Yeah, absolutely gorgeous. And there was then a perennial honesty not far from it, and it gave this kind of white blossom, and the two together gave this slightly wild feel, but at the same time was all controlled and plants that you actually want.
Yeah, and that honesty, it was white, but it also had some mauve in it. Did you see towards the centre, which was a very delicate mauve?
It was almost like someone has splashed kind of a little drop of purple into it, and it kind of
seeped through.
Yeah, exactly. I love that.
And then she was planting the most massive copper pot you've ever seen.
Oh my gosh, because she did a container with some early spring flowers. That was very lovely. And now she's doing a proper container, which will actually be able to stay there throughout the year and should hopefully give some good interest as well. Because, I mean, there was scabious butterfly blue beauty in there, and Nepeta and a Mexican daisy, which is the Origeron. And they were all kind of... There was a spiller, a filler, and a kind of tall one. I don't know what's the tall one. The pillar, that's it. That's what I was looking for. And all of these needed sharp drainage, so lots of grit.
Yeah. And then she's in her brick garden.
Yeah, and this had been completely taken over, and I think we all have this, where one plant just goes I love it here. Yeah. They just kind of sprawled around the place.
Moving in.
So she had geranium nodosum, which was going crazy, and crocosmias as well. And I was just like, please give us the crocosmias that were going crazy.
Shame,
but
isn't it?
in their place, she was adding in Iris pseudochorus variegatus. I have never seen an iris like this
Gorgeous.
before.
I loved this. I haven't either.
Oh, it was utterly stunning. And okay, this is slightly off-piste, but when I was looking up to see what the flower looked like, it's a very pretty yellow, actually, the flower. But for some reason, when I looked it up, I saw this other iris, which is absolutely amazing. It's blue and yellow. It's a Siberian iris, and it's called Tipped in Blue.
Oh, right.
And it's really, really pretty. I don't know why it came up when I was looking at this other iris, but it was utterly gorgeous, so have a look at that one.
Right.
And then also she was putting in Doronicum harpacru, a Euphorbia amygdaloides purpurea, which gives an amazing kind of chocolatey purple and lime green on one plant, which is the kind of mix that Nick Bailey was trying to get in his garden.
Oh, yes.
You know, he was putting in all those limes
remembers.
and those purples and some oranges.
So true.
And they're proper, those colours just go together.
Yeah.
There's something about them. Just amazing.
And then there was that big yellow daisy, the leopard's bane, at the end.
Oh, that was gorgeous.
Yeah. And then finally a hosta, of course.
Yep.
Hosta Francis Williams. Did you get that?
Yeah, it's named after apparently the hobby breeder who developed it.
Right.
Francis Williams.
And it was interesting because she said that the only hostas really that you shouldn't grow in direct sun are the golden-leaved ones because they'll just scorch, but others are absolutely fine.
Yeah, which I can understand because, of course, the chlorophyll in plants is such a good sunscreen towards protecting them from the sun. So you've got chlorophyll A and B, which are really important, and that which give that green colour. One's a slightly darker green, one's a slightly lighter green. Two pigments, and they're very important in protecting plants against sun rays.
Right.
So I think it's interesting that without those, or at least very little of those pigments, which gives you that kind of golden leaf, makes them kind of not so good in the sun. I think that's very interesting.
Yeah, very interesting.
And then finally there was the Exocorda, the Bride, which is
Pearl bush.
Utterly gorgeous.
Yeah, that was, wasn't it?
And apparently it's a very deep rooting plant and is very resistant to drought.
Oh, perfect for us then.
Yeah, exactly. So I thought, imagine that cascading down would look gorgeous in our garden.
Yeah, absolutely. Back to Monts, and he says how much he loves this time of year, which I just wrote, me too. It's one of my favourites.
Yeah.
And he's at his grass border. He's got some alliums, shuttlecock ferns, cow parsley,
Iris iberica, giant fennel, which is huge.
Really huge.
Love it.
And he talks about that being monocarpic. So once it sets seeds, it dies.
Goodbye.
And then he was adding some perennial sunflowers.
Yeah, the Helianthus Miss Mellish.
That's the one. And then we go over to South Oxfordshire to visit Elliott Neep. And this was filmed last summer, apparently.
Ah, okay.
And it's his most incredibly beautiful garden. I mean, it was really, really beautiful.
Like, gorgeous, and different rooms as well.
Yeah. And he describes it as being a great source of solace and healing.
Yeah.
And he had this 1/3 of an acre plot, and it's the north side of a hill, so he said it's very dry. And he has, as you said, created these rooms. He's got a cottage garden, a kitchen garden, and a flower garden.
Yeah.
But it was so interesting to me that he was a relatively new gardener with only 6 or 7 years experience.
I know, when he said relatively new, I was like, bro, you've been in here for ages.
Oh, well, I thought that was actually really new. I guess at your age, that seems...
For me, that's a huge
it's a large part of your lifetime so far, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
A smaller fraction of my lifetime. So it did strike me as him being new, but what amazed me wasn't that, it was that he had such an incredible garden and knew so much about what was going on.
And boshed it, like, and really boshed it.
And previously a wildlife photographer, so a very different career.
And when he showed those photos of what he had taken, beautiful photographs.
What a life, huh?
Oh, I mean, the one of the polar bear was striking because it was so white and you could only just tell that there was a polar bear there.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, if you kind of like crossed your eyes or something like that, you probably wouldn't tell.
Oh, right.
Bar the black nose or something like that. Because I don't know, but the line of the outside of the bear was so kind of only just defined.
Yeah.
That I think if you crossed your eyes, you'd just be like, there seem to be 2 eyes and a black nose looking at me.
Beautiful photos. It was also interesting seeing his photos of the garden, the before and after.
Yeah.
And he says how when they moved in back in 2014, there were lots of brambles to dig out.
Yeah, exactly.
They also had to mulch a whole load, didn't they, to build up the moisture.
They did.
But the back of the cottage, because I think that's all we see, isn't it? It's the back of the cottage. It was the most beautiful chocolate box type cottage.
Oh my gosh.
And then with the stunning planting that he did outside it, it looked so inviting, and it was just so tastefully done, wasn't it?
It was. And it was all kind of, the cottage was kind of whitey cream, and it was just like perfect plants and roses and delicateness.
Yeah, it was just, it really was so, so pretty.
It did remind me of just kind of a little fairy tale land. Oh, it was just gorgeous.
And then he talks about his mental health, because of course last week was Mental Health Awareness Week.
Yes,
and
very important.
He explained how early in 2018 he experienced his first major mental health crisis.
Yeah.
And the garden became his sanctuary, really. And also he said, and his school, so, you know, a big education for him.
Exactly, that's what's amazing about it.
And then in winter of 2021-2022, he said he was almost catatonic with a depressive state.
Yeah.
And it was his partner, Jacqueline, who saved him and found him the help that he needed. And that's when he found out that he was bipolar.
Yeah.
And whilst he was talking, there were these beautiful shots of the garden.
Yeah.
And just the camera sort of floating over the stunning planting that he's done. And I thought it was beautifully and sensitively handled, hearing Elliott's story and then equating it to the sanctuary of his garden.
Yeah, completely. It almost brought a tear to one's eye, because it was just it just made me feel, God, I completely understand how much a garden is so amazing, so there for you.
Yeah.
I think I said this to you the other day, actually. We were sitting down in the garden, and I said to you how my happiest times, and when I feel so happy completely with myself and with what's going on around me, is when I'm in the garden.
Yeah.
Like, I couldn't be happier, because sometimes I can get... Like, I get a huge high when I'm working, for example, when I understand something in chemistry or in physics. I'm like, oh, yes!
Yeah.
Like, it's such a great achievement. I'm like, yes, I get it. And I'm really happy. But true happiness is when I'm in the garden.
Yeah.
And I can just feel my body, and I'm just in this space, and just everything feels like it's just humming along naturally. So I so get it, how he feels about his garden
and the importance of it.
Completely. And I did want to understand what it is exactly that a garden gives you to decrease stress levels, to make you kind of feel happy inside. And there's a huge amount of science behind it. I mean, obviously there are the things that we all know about. Physical exertion makes you happy because it gets your body moving, it gets your kind of lungs pumping. I mean, gardening is so great for everything, even dexterity, because even weeding is so good. I some of the weeds that I've had to pull out, which is so hard, and I've had to have a proper grip.
Yeah,
I feel like I've got good muscles in my hands.
Good
afterwards.
hand muscles. Good.
Yeah, exactly. But even things to just clears your lungs, oxygen in your blood is elevated. There's more oxygen going in. You getting great immune responses from your body, because you're kind of just touching the ground and everything. Even things down to, this is their more kind of chemical sides, flower fragrances. They can trigger the release of endorphins in you, so they make you happy, which is why you smell a flower and you go, oh, lovely.
Yeah, and cut grass as well.
Yeah, as well. Unfortunately, it doesn't work with the sweaty armpits.
With the salvias.
Yeah, salvia. And also there was an interesting study in 2007 which found that a bacterium in soil called microbacterium vacii, I think it's said like that, triggers the release of serotonin in the body. So it's when you're coming in contact with the soil, which is, I love, because everybody knows the greatest feeling when you're not wearing gloves,
immersing your hands
right in the compost, and you just feels amazing. So I just thought, wow, I know why I love gardening so much, and now science proves it as well.
I think also you were having a bit of time on your phone, weren't you, which you don't normally do, and you had spent a bit more time on your phone than you had wanted yourself to do, because you're quite strict with yourself about how much time you are on your screen.
But it's hard. It is quite amazing what it can do to oneself, because you can be as strict as you want and you're still pulled back in, even though you know that the outcome, you feel really bad,
you feel rubbish,
you feel like a blob.
Well, it's an addiction, isn't it?
It's complete addiction.
So you had a moment of that, and then you came out into the garden and you just cleared your head and you felt so much happier. And I do think there's a lot to be said. We need to find some ways of counteracting the tech and the screens for people. Yeah. It would be great if in schools now, to keep up with the times, to keep up with the tech, we found things to counterbalance all of that. And if you had, say, a gardening class, so that kids could experience exactly what you talked about and see, oh, this is how I can get that joy. And I know there are a lot of things going on, like with community gardens, and we've seen on Garden as well, you know, school kids going off to various gardens like that. If we had more of that, and if it was an obligatory part of the curriculum, I think it would really benefit a lot.
I think it would completely. And I'm not kind of airy-fairy and going like, oh yes, and kind of being completely like whacking myself on the ground going, I can feel the ground or whatever, I can feel the movements of the earth rotating or whatever.
Oh, right.
I am very scientific about things a lot of the time, and I'm very like, okay, that does that, so I feel good after that or whatever. And for me, there is just I love the science behind
But so
plants.
much of this is science.
It is science. It's completely and utterly
We know
science.
that when we've talked about trees the other week, when you were saying about, I'm not sure I want AI coming into the garden because I want to be kind of at one with nature, essentially, is what you're saying.
Yeah, exactly.
And we know what walking in forests does for us.
Yeah.
How important it is. There is the chemistry of what's going on there. So
completely.
You know, definitely science is involved in this whole process.
And I know that some people kind of laugh, or especially some kids my age will think it might be a little bit kind of like, oh, you're into gardening or something. It's kind of, it's not a thing that I see many people doing. And I think that people should be more aware, especially kind of adolescents, teenagers, kind of young adults, just everyone. Everyone should be aware of it. But I feel like especially teenagers, because it's an age where things are just going crazy. There's sorts.
A lot going on.
There's a lot going on inside of the human body,
bodies.
And a lot going on at school, and just growing up, learning about the world and responsibilities and all that stuff. And I feel like it would be so good as a kind of step towards going into adulthood, where you're suddenly kind of like shocked with what the world actually is, which can be very scary, because
you're worried about paying bills and doing food shops and things like that, aren't you?
There's that, but then there's everything from politics to all the scariest stuff that happens in the world that you're kind of protected from when you're a kid, and you just think, oh gosh, when can I go to the cinema and watch such and such, or whatever. You think about those kind of things.
Right.
What's for supper tonight? Oh my gosh, I hope it's macaroni cheese or something like that. You're suddenly kind of in this world of kind of, oh gosh, there's actually crazy stuff going on.
Serious stuff.
And I feel like people should give teenagers this space of a garden where they can just go, it's all going to be all right. The plants are still doing what they need to do. I need to look after them, because otherwise, well, I'm not doing my job.
Yeah.
And just kind of be happy and just enjoy that. And I feel like that would help a lot with anxiety and getting addicted to screens and to other stuff that teenagers can get addicted to easy, because they don't know how to, I mean, like myself, they don't know how to kind of step away from it like an adult would more.
Well, no, even adults struggle.
This
is the issue. There's such addictive devices, and that's why a lot of those in Silicon Valley who worked on creating these things for the likes of Apple and co, you know, members of the tech teams have said we would never give our children iPads or phones. So and all the apps and all those social media tools, they all have addiction built into them specifically. And we saw a documentary about it.
Oh, we've watched some pretty cool ones.
It's absolutely there. It's fact. It's not just a conspiracy theory.
No.
All of them are created with addiction in mind, to just keep people focused on that app for as long as possible. So
completely,
it's cruel. And when you've got a developing mind, it's hard enough for adults with a supposedly fully developed brain,
full of sponge.
When you've got a developing brain that's trying to deal with that, it's really cruel. So do you think all schools should have an area of space dedicated to some sort of a garden, be it a container garden or a patch of garden?
Completely, or like a veg garden or something like that. I know that some schools have, in the playground, they have kind of like parks and kind of
parks. Wow,
sorry, not parks, just kind of a fields. You know, they kind of have trees in areas. Some areas,
some schools,
some might have a pond or something like that. But I would love to take it as far as to make an obligatory lesson, hour a week or something like that, 2 hours a week maybe, of where they have to go out into the garden and they're literally allowed to completely forget about everything to do with lessons, because even the stress of school and the stress of exams and stuff like that, they can just go out, even with a drink, if they just want to sit down and just chat. Just chat in the garden. With a gin and tonic on the rocks. But can you imagine how nice that would be, and just clear your head and then go back to lessons? Okay, now I'm ready.
I do think that would be good.
I would love it.
I think there's a lot to be said for introducing that to the curriculum.
Yeah, and I think it would just help with a huge amount of mental health problems.
Yeah, I truly believe so.
Yeah.
And you said earlier it nearly brought a tear to your eye. Listening to Elliott, it did bring a tear to my eye.
Oh.
I really understood him.
Yeah.
And I think it's really great that he is talking so openly. I think everyone needs to talk openly about these sorts of things.
Yeah.
I think we need to normalise it as much as possible.
Completely.
Because you can absolutely guarantee that the person sitting next to you will have had, on some level...
Yeah. Somewhere.
Some sort of mental health issues, be that something very small or something very big.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, our brains are very complex things.
They're
and
amazing.
There's so many things that can sort of come unplugged in our brains or just sort of misfire. And so we should just be talking about mental health openly all the time, not just Mental Health Week, but all the time. Mm-hmm. Let it all hang out, normalise it.
Absolutely.
I loved the solace he was getting from his garden.
Yeah.
And he spoke at the end where he said, gardening is a real tonic. He's just level and positive and happy. And he said it through tears.
I know.
And I completely got
heart.
that, because I know I've dealt with things in the past that I feel, you know, I was so in the past and I've dealt with them mentally. Yeah. But still, if I ever talk about them, I will immediately start crying. I can't talk about them without crying, because I am transported back to that very, very tough emotional time. So I completely resonated with Elliott when he was talking at the end there. That could have been me sitting on the bench speaking like that. Yeah, I'm fine. You know, I would basically, no, I'm absolutely fine. I don't know why I'm crying. That's how I often will talk about situations.
Yeah, completely.
My godfather said to me, he said, you wear your tears very close to the surface. And
oh my gosh,
I think that's what
we both do.
I think we both do, but I think that's partly what it is, but also is just you're taken back to an emotional state, and so you relive it really in that moment of
gets
talking
opened
about
again.
It. Yeah, exactly.
It's like sealed with a really non-sticky sellotape or something like that.
But I think it's more healthy that the box isn't sealed with a really sticky, what did you say? Sticky
sellotape.
Sellotape. Because that's when it's a problem, is when it is stuffed away in a box at the back of your head, because it'll explode at some point. Yeah. It's far better if Elliott is talking about it like that. We all just talk about, you know, mental health. It doesn't even have to be mental health problems or issues, just mental health.
Mental health is very important.
Yeah, so I found it very, very moving.
Yeah, I did as well.
Well, Elliott, as we know, has this background in photography. I won't talk too much about that, but it was interesting to hear that he started in 2002. Early 2002, he just decided he wanted to do photography. So he started studying it and practicing and shooting photography. And by the summer of that same year, he turned full-time doing it. And it was only 3 years before he won his first photographic award, Wildlife Photographer of the Year. So within 3 years, he was already getting one of the highest accolades in that field.
It's amazing.
Now, for the garden, apparently a Gardener's World producer spotted Elliott's stunning garden on Instagram and got in contact with him last year.
Okie dokes.
And when they came to film, it was the hottest day of the year. He said it was just over 30 degrees.
Oh, no!
So the camera crew came the evening before to get some shots with the lower light and a bit cooler. Yeah. And then they came at 7 o'clock in the morning to try and avoid the heat. And also all the noises, because whilst they were shooting, they had all sorts of things going on.
Oh no!
They had overhead planes, mowers, power drills, saws, and even Thames Water were digging up a nearby road. And so the poor sound engineer was having to get them all to stop. okay, and then start again.
Oh, poor guys.
So they had a lot to deal with. And Elliott, so I read about this on Elliott's Substack, so I'll put a link to that.
Oh, great.
Where he talks about his whole gardening journey and his adventures with gardening and his mental health. But he does this really great article, which is so beautifully written. He's got a really nice way with words.
Oh, lovely.
But he explains a bit of the behind the scenes of when Gardener's World came out.
Oh, yeah.
And he said he was, he was nervous. He knew his garden would perform, but he was worried about how he would perform.
Oh,
and he was nervous talking in front of the camera, and you would not know at all. He seemed a complete natural.
No, exactly. That's the thing.
So he said, every time they had to stop because of a noise going on, he'd then have to think back what he had just talked about, and he was kind of struggling to remember what he had just said. And
poor guy.
But the team, apparently, as we always hear,
just
are
lovely.
so supportive and so lovely.
Lovely.
So they said, look, don't worry, we'll knit this all together.
Oh.
But some advice that he was given by a member of the crew was to not look at his social media after this went out on Friday night.
Oh, yeah.
They recommended that he didn't check out his social media because they said there's always some keyboard warrior who's going to say something negative.
Always.
Isn't that such a shame?
It's such a shame. Even in the gardening world, the world of pure happiness.
Yeah. But
you've got to have that.
Yeah, exactly. It's everywhere. But by the sounds of it, Elliott's had just loads and loads of supportive messages. So
good.
Been,
I'm happy about that.
That hasn't been a problem as far as I could tell. But this was an interesting extract from Elliott's Substack.
Oh, yeah.
When he's talking about the filming with Gardener's World.
Yeah.
He said, I tried to say the diagnosis saved my life. I tried to say if only I'd been diagnosed sooner, I wouldn't have spent the last decade cycling through suicidal episodes. But the words never came. I think I ended on the word bipolar, followed by tissues, tears, and a hushed, in brackets, awkward silence. So this is him describing his experience of it.
Oh, crikey, yeah.
And it's so interesting to kind of hear it from his perspective and where he was coming from, because none of us would know that.
No, of course not.
That's like the proverbial swan where he's just graceful on the surface and paddling frantically under the surface.
A lot of footsies.
Yeah. So I will put a link to his Substack and also his website, thegardeningkind.com.
Oh, brilliant.
And also he has an Instagram page.
Oh, yes.
And he has a lot of followers on there, a lot of supporters. That's also at The Gardening Kind. So I'll put links to all of that. And you can see the most beautiful shots of his incredible garden on there.
Of course, we have the best photographer in town for it.
Exactly. Back with Monty, and as he says, a familiar story.
Yeah.
For Monty included.
And for many, many others.
Mm-hmm. And Monty is talking hostas.
Yeah,
and he says he waters his every day if it's dry, as opposed to Elliott, who was saying he waters it once a week.
Yeah, exactly. And how Monty is trialling them, some in pots, some in the ground, to see what kind of makes them get attacked by slugs.
Yeah.
And it seems to be the whole thing about stressing the hostas out, I think he said. So he said have a big enough pot, water, also have a rich compost as well. So all these things to keep your hosta happy and looking happy as well.
Bit high maintenance for us.
A bit hugely high maintenance for me.
Unfortunately for us, I don't think we've quite got the time for that, have we?
No.
But then he potters over to his greenhouse and he's planting out tomatoes.
He is, yeah. He's got this Gardener's Delight, which he said he's probably going to pop outside a bit later, not quite yet. But the ones that are going to stay inside because they love the heat was the Costa Luto Fiorentino and also the Black Crim, which is obviously a gorgeous kind of purpley colour.
Yeah, lovely. And he's doing that usual stringing them up.
Yeah, exactly.
And he also says about planting them close together because the slight stress will give more tomatoes and less plants.
Yeah, exactly. So unlike hostas, they want to be slightly stressed to produce correctly.
It's all good. Are we stressing ours? Have you planted ours close?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Great stuff.
They are perfect.
And then we've got Ned on the potting table. He's just keeping an eye on proceedings.
What was he doing up there?
And then over to the jewel garden and Monty's beautiful lupins.
Yeah, the masterpiece. Gorgeous kind of jewelly purple colour.
Yeah, really stunning. Ours have all but disappeared. They clearly are not something we can continue having in the garden.
No, we had them and they worked very well the first year or so.
Possibly 2 years?
Possibly 2, but not much longer than that.
No, I don't even know now if it was 2 years.
I think they just got swamped.
Do you think that's what it was?
By other stuff.
But if you want to see incredible lupins, you need to head over to Delia's place at Hone Hill Dreaming.
Oh my gosh,
on her
yes.
Instagram page. She was on episode 25 of Chit Chats with us.
Yeah.
And we heard all about her incredible sort of colourful tutti frutti planting. And currently her lupins are second to none. I don't know how she does it.
Oh, they're amazing.
Do have a look at them there. They're extremely impressive. And then we go over to Holker Hall in the Lake District in Cumbria.
Yes.
And this is with Ashley Edwards, who I think that's the first time we've seen him presenting on Gardener's World. I know he writes articles for the magazine, but
I personally haven't seen him before.
No, I don't think I have. And he was just wonderful. So he'd travelled 5 hours out of London to Holker Hall.
I know.
He said that he's been a head gardener for over 6 years.
Yeah.
And most of that time he spent it in London.
Mm.
So a real gear change for him.
Yeah, completely.
All the way up there.
Oh, it must have been amazing. And this kind of wide expanse of
and
garden.
You could see the delight in his eyes.
Yeah.
His face was just... He was grinning from ear to ear, wasn't he, as he walked around this amazing garden.
It was a gorgeous garden to go to.
And he met with head gardener Matthew Murgatroyd.
Yeah.
And he's been the head gardener there for 2.5 years, having been previously 10 years at Highgrove.
Oh, yes.
Then the two of them are planting a silver birch, and this, I'm not sure what happened, maybe it was my eyes, but they planted it in at a serious angle and both decided it was absolutely perfect. Did you notice that?
I didn't notice that. Oh my gosh. I could have seen you going,
Wait, what?
What's going on?
I was turning my head. Anyway,
oh, no.
They were quite happy and content, so maybe that's how they grow.
Yeah, and they were adding it into this ancient arboretum, which, I would love an arboretum. Like, how cool would that be?
And they go over to this 400-year-old Great Lime.
I have never seen anything
isn't it?
like absolutely huge.
Yeah.
It's so wide.
Really wide and short.
Yeah, exactly. Very stumpy, but kind of with some kind of more spindly bits coming up the top.
So a lot of pruning going on. But you can understand why Matthew said that nerves are occurring when in the night if there's a storm.
Yeah, completely.
They're wondering how their lime tree's doing.
Yeah.
But it looks so short and stumpy, I don't see how anything would blow that over.
No, it was just kind of, I am here. It's funny because I looked up what the widest tree is in the world because I was just wondering, well, this guy, huge.
Is it a redwood? Oh, no, does it begin with B?
No, I don't know if you'll get this. It's a Montezuma cypress.
Oh, no.
And it is in Mexico and it's called Árbol del Tule.
Oh, I see.
I don't know if I said that correctly.
It sounded good.
It sounded pretty good. But it has a diameter of 30.8 feet. And to put that into metres, if that helps you more, 9.38 metres.
9.38 metres, wow.
Very wide.
Wow, that's incredible, isn't it?
Yeah, it is super duper cool. And it has the same look as the lime tree. It's very stumpy. But then I don't know what's going on further up because the photos didn't show further up.
It just showed the big fat trunk.
Just the big fat trunk. So I was like, what are we doing up there?
Yeah. I wonder what's going on up there. Did you see how tall the trunk was?
No, I didn't see how tall. I was mainly just going for fatness. Girth. I wanted to see the girth.
Then this was the exciting bit where they went to, as they call it, the engine room, where all those compost stations were.
Yeah.
Very jealous of this. It was huge.
It was.
And they just had enormous bays full of the good stuff.
They look like kind of skips.
Lovely big trailer loads of compost being wheeled around. And then Ashley takes it over to Jacob, who's making a brand new border.
Yeah. Full of different fragrances, lots of smelly things.
Smelly things.
Mixed
herbaceous and shrub planting. And then there was Will and Chloe who were planting in blocks and kind of drifts. There was a baneberry, which Ashley said smells like bubblegum.
Yep. Might be a little bit sweet for some, probably you. I would probably love it.
You'd love that, yeah.
Yeah.
You'd probably eat it.
Oh no, that would be so bad. There was an Actea simplex brunette. That was a really pretty pink flower with a kind of black stem and leaves. I thought it was a great kind of contrast between the two.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was a dry, shady area, which is loved by epimediums. That's also called a barrenwort.
Oh, right, yeah. And finally, Ashley heads over to Chloe and she's showing him how to weave pea sticks using hazel.
Yeah, you can use hazel or birch.
Yeah.
They seem to be good for kind of weaving. And apparently, if you want them to be a little bit more flexible, she said you can soak them in water beforehand.
It makes sense, doesn't it?
Make them a bit less rigid.
Well, Holker Hall is right on the coast of the Lake District, so there are sea views from the house, can you imagine?
Wow.
Over Morecambe Bay.
Oh, gorgeous.
And the hall and gardens have been in the Cavendish family since the early 17th century. It looks absolutely spectacular, the house. Very, very, very opulent. Enormous maintenance and utility bills, I would imagine. But the gardens is mad bruv. Incredible.
It is mad bruv.
23 acres, and they describe it as being a series of formal gardens set within a more informal landscape.
Gorgeous.
They have a wildflower meadow, a labyrinth.
Oh, labyrinth.
Yep.
Oh my gosh, like that is definitely something I would want to have in my dream garden.
Oh, we haven't had that yet, have we? I wonder if anyone will ever choose that.
Oh, cool.
A pagan grove, woodland gardens, a summer garden. They also have a private garden, which is really substantial in itself.
Oh, I love that.
Presumably for the family.
Yeah.
And within the estate, they've created also a holiday park for a load of mobile homes right on the River Leven estuary.
Oh, perfect.
So it's set, I mean, there's so much space that's set really far back from the house, but that's a good little income, I would imagine.
Yeah.
And finally, on Saturday the 21st of June at 2:00, you can join Matthew.
Oh.
He's doing a tour around the gardens as he shares a behind-the-scenes look at where the BBC filmed for that Gardeners World episode.
Oh, brilliant.
So you can find out what it takes to film a segment for the programme and what was left on the cutting room floor as well.
Oh, very interesting. I would love to go and see that.
So it's an hour-long tour, and it'll also give you an insight into the workings and kind of the management of the garden.
Yeah.
And the tickets also include a hot drink and a scone at the Courtyard Cafe afterwards.
Well, I would say that's very, very important.
I'll put a link to that on the pod notes.
Brilliant.
Monty's in his jewel garden.
Yeah.
He has his salvias.
Yeah, he's bringing them out. He's about to plant them in and choosing different ones depending on their kind of height, where he's going to put them in the border.
They were in the greenhouse, weren't they, overwintering?
Yeah, exactly.
And he's got the Salvia Amistad.
Yeah,
which is a staple, isn't it, in the salvia world?
Yeah, and it's flowering as well already, which is great. And he also has Garanatica.
Mm-hmm.
And
that blue one.
Yeah, really pretty blue as well. And then Salvia curviflora, which is a pinky, he would say more
magenta.
Kind of magenta.
Yeah.
But it is pink.
And then it was sweet because he was in the middle of digging and he suddenly said, "Oh, look up there," and there were about 20 buzzards circling round.
Yeah, but I thought that's what happens to all of us with gardening, and we just look around and we're like, "Oh, that's pretty.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
lovely."
And he's doing all of this with a perfectly clean spade. I wonder if he's got one person who is chief spade cleaner, tool cleaner. Because he's got so many spades, and chief wheelbarrow cleaner. Do you remember all the wheelbarrows he had?
Oh my gosh, that's such a good point. Yeah, I mean my spade the other day when I was digging up some stuff was completely messy.
I have seen a top tip actually for cleaning your secateurs and spades, which is dousing them in Heinz ketchup. Leave them for 3 days and then wash it off, and all the rust, all the sap, all the rubbish comes off.
That tells you a lot of what is in Heinz ketchup.
It really does. I think it's mostly the vinegar, probably.
Oh, interesting.
Then we go to Pershore, and this is the Alpine Garden Society, and they're preparing for Chelsea.
They are. And they've got this garden full of alpines, obviously.
Alpines and octogenarians was what I gathered from this.
Yes. Wasn't it hilarious, the little beginning bit where they were all sitting down going, "Oh, crikey, the lens is very near." And
yeah, they were funny.
I just feel as though I would have done the same. I would have been like, "Ooh."
You're my little octogenarian.
Mini octogenarian.
But we also meet Rob Amos, and he is the president of the society. He's a slightly younger chap, isn't he?
Exactly, which I would say that all the octogenarians were very happy about.
They were. They did say that that pleased them.
Yeah.
Because they were worried that with them all moving on or
Yeah.
not working there anymore, volunteering there anymore,
Yeah.
who would take over?
Exactly.
And if it's not appealing to younger generations,
Yep.
then it's going to stop functioning, I guess.
Exactly, which would be really, really sad.
It would be. I remember that happened with an excellent thing we used to go to each year called Art in Action, which was
Oh, that was brilliant.
quite a trek
love
away
that.
in Wheatley in Oxfordshire. And we would go there once a year, often with a couple of friends.
Yes.
And it
Best
was absolutely
place
fantastic.
ever.
Just loads and loads of tents on this land, and in each tent was a different artist doing their different type of art, and you
Yep.
could watch them
And
at work.
And you could
in
go
action.
do the work as well.
And then you could do the work. So there's everything from glass blowing to sculpting to basket weaving, felting,
Yeah.
everything.
I did some great felting.
And that stopped because I remember speaking to the lady at the front who was selling the tickets. And
Yeah.
she said, unfortunately, this is our last year because all our soldies are moving on and there's no one to carry on. So that fantastic event has now stopped.
So sad.
It is. Anyway,
Really
that's by
sad.
the by.
Yeah.
Rob is talking about tufa beds and crevice beds. He couldn't remember what that bed.
The bed with the kind of things like that.
With the rocks, like the thing.
Oh, like the amount of times I go to you know that thing with that kind of bit and that
That's the
little
story of
kind
my
of
life right now.
Oh, but both of us.
You know that guy who's in that film?
Who said
he's
that?
in that film with the other guy. You know the guy who's married to that girl. Well, that guy.
This is our conversation all the time, and then I'll just go to you. Oh, come on now, you know what I mean. And you're just like, no, I do not. I do not know what you mean. But luckily, someone knew what he meant. So.
Well, I knew what he meant by crevice bed, but I didn't know what he meant by tufa bed.
No, tufa is a special kind of very porous stone, which is absolutely perfect. Kind of, it's a perfect substrate and naturalistic landscape for all these alpines to live in. So that's what that bed was all about, and you could see it. You get very different sizes of tufa stone.
Composed of calcium carbonate or silica.
Yes.
And I understood that it also occurs in caves of stalactites and stalagmites and
Yeah.
also travertine.
Oh, that's what gives it that slightly porous look.
Could be, yeah.
Interesting.
Because we've got travertine tiles, and I've never thought about where that comes from.
No.
And I'd never heard of tufa in my ignorance.
I hadn't.
I thought it was kind of a nickname.
Didn't know how to spell it either. I was like, tooth.
Yeah.
I wasn't, no.
Anyway,
I had
so that
no
was
idea.
interesting.
Yeah. So in some of these beds, there was a pulsatilla, which is in the ranunculus family. Very pretty. It's also called a prairie crocus. There were some primulas and the narcissus, some saxifraga.
Saxifraga.
Looking very good. And finally, he talked about the Louisias, which are also called cliff maids because they have a great ability to grow on vertical cliff sides, which is very amazing.
Oh, I see.
I love plants that can do that.
Yeah.
It's just like defying gravity. It's like, there's a song. Oh, what is it?
It's by that person who was married to this other person who was in that film.
I remember Cynthia Oribo or something like that. Cannot remember her proper name. I'm sorry. But she sings Defying Gravity in Wicked. So that's what all these plants are singing.
Oh, right.
Defying Gravity.
They're all singing that as they cling to the cliff face.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, President Rob Amos
Yes.
is in fact President Dr. Rob Amos.
Oh.
And he joined the society when he was 12.
No way! That's so cool.
So he's been around for quite some time.
Yeah.
And as well as being a keen exhibitor himself, his favourite Genesis is Narcissus.
Oh.
He's also active in the local AGS Bedfordshire group. But that's not the only string to his bow. He also, get this, he joined Birkbeck as a lecturer in law in 2025 and specialises in environmental law.
Interesting.
He previously held lectureships at the universities of Greenwich and Nottingham, as well as research positions at UCL and Sussex University.
Crikey.
He's on the editorial board of the Journal of International Wildlife Law and Policy. He has guest lectured at the University of Cambridge and UCL's Energy Institute and supervised dissertations on UCL's LLM in environmental law and policy.
God, it's amazing what you find out about these people on Gardener's World. It's amazing.
Absolutely blew my mind when I started reading all his credentials.
Yeah.
Well, Alpine Garden Society has just had an open day through the NGS this weekend, and their next one is the 4th of June. But you can also visit by arrangement up until the 25th of September, so I'll put a link to that in the pod notes.
Okie dokes.
Monty's sorting out his agapanthus. I remember this from last year. He gets a socking great sore and cuts through the middle. And he said they love bright sunshine, and that made me think about that one that is behind my chair on the Sunset Terrace.
But it's doing absolutely fine. It's just a baby.
Is it? Could it be doing finer?
No, I think it's just a baby. It's a complete baby. I mean, the poor little thing.
It's in so much shade there, though, so I think either we move it or we move my chair.
Oh.
The latter doesn't appeal to me at all, because I like my chair there. But
you like your chair.
Agapanthus to thrive.
Yeah, no, I understand that.
So what do we do?
I don't know. I'll have to think about that.
We'll regroup after this.
Regroup.
And then we go to jobs for the weekend.
Yes.
Earth up tatties.
Yep.
Deadhead tulips.
Yep.
Sow lettuce.
Okie dokie. That is a good point about the lettuce.
Need to get ours in the ground.
I think I need to do it in plugs first, because otherwise I feel like they'll just get swamped by snails and slugs.
Yeah, maybe. Sweet pea, your favourite plant?
My favourite plant was a plant that I didn't talk about, and that wasn't actually talked about at all by Elliott himself in his garden.
Oh, right.
But I saw it in his, I think it was the cottage garden part of his garden, and it was this beautiful apricot coloured lupin.
Oh, wow.
And I had never seen such a beautiful lupin in my life.
Oh, well spotted.
And I thought it was just gorgeous, and it had all these purples around it.
Yeah.
And I thought, oh, now that is a lupin.
Where would we put it?
In the cottage garden. In a pot or something. I think that would look amazing.
Oh, in a pot would be nice. Actually, that's a point. Now I think about it, we've had some self-seeding lupins in the gravel.
Oh my gosh, we have.
I was thinking more about amongst the beds, but yeah, in our gravel garden on that terrace, we've got some self-seeders. Oh, phew.
Oh, okay.
Well, hopefully they'll do something exciting.
Okay, great. What was yours?
Mine was the variegated iris from Carol's garden.
Oh, yeah, very good point.
That was quite intriguing.
That was gorgeous.
And your top takeaway?
Was also from Elliott's garden. He talked about no dig, which is of course we're completely promoting, but also cutting straight into the ground with the plants.
Yeah, and then putting the cardboard down.
And then putting the cardboard down, and then the mulch on top. And he just had this amazing forest of plants just thriving, and good plants as well.
Yeah, that was interesting that he did it that way around.
Yeah.
We've always put the cardboard down first,
let it mulch.
The mulch, and then we've dug through the cardboard to put out that plant.
Yeah, exactly.
So he must do kind of a jigsaw around each plant that he's put in.
Yeah, which I thought was really cool.
Yeah, maybe we should consider that for our next bed.
I think it would be interesting to try it out.
My top takeaway was the presenter Ashley Edwards. I want to see more of him, please.
Yeah.
I thought he was so infectious with his enthusiasm.
He was so lovely.
Big, broad smile from ear to ear. He brought some real freshness, I thought, to the whole thing.
Completely. It just put you at ease, and you're just watching going, yeah, completely.
I really enjoyed that.
Yeah.
Then we have a final shot of Monty floating in slow-mo through his cow parsley.
Yeah.
He just needed a flowing white dress and a straw hat, and I thought it was all very romantic, and the light.
Oh, completely.
And then we get a glimpse of how he's getting on at Chelsea, and Jamie Butterworth is a big part of that. He's just such a rock star, Jamie Butterworth, isn't he?
Going for it.
In the gardening world.
Yeah.
So I think Monty's in good hands with him.
Oh, I think so.
So all this week is coverage of Chelsea Flower Show.
Yes.
So we don't have a Gardener's World as such, but every single day you can catch coverage from the show.
Yep.
We know quite a few people who have got something going on there, who've been on Gardener's World, such as Ben Story is exhibiting some of his beautiful photography. You know, his plant photography that he does.
Oh, lovely.
And we know that Layla
Of course.
doing her amazing display.
I look forward to seeing all those beautiful flowers.
In the Great Pavilion.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we won't be covering anything from this week because it's all at Chelsea, but we'll be back the week after.
Yep.
And here's what's coming up in episode 11 on the 30th of May.
Ooh.
With summer fast approaching, Monty is changing things up and infusing some drama into his jewel garden pots. It's out with the tulips and in with some bold, colourful bedding. He also dips his toe into the pond in an attempt to breathe new life into his water lilies and gives his oranges and lemons their annual MOT.
Yes.
Arrett Anderson meets a determined cut-flower gardener in Suffolk who's on a mission to champion the grown, not flown movement. And Rekka Mystery shows how to produce and cook with tasty veg throughout the year.
Oh, that'll be fun.
Yeah, creating a homegrown treat to prove it.
Oh, yummy.
There's an experienced wildlife cameraman, another one.
Oh, yay.
Who has swapped filming the African plains for staying at home after becoming captivated by the secret life of bees living in his back garden.
Oh, it is so interesting.
Yeah. And a highly successful Australian model explains why she swapped the catwalk for the compost heap and retrained in horticulture to become head gardener at a historic garden.
Well, that sounds like an amazing episode.
It does, doesn't it? Again, a lot of interesting stuff going on.
Brilliant stuff.
So thank you for listening.
Yes, and please give us a big thumbs up. Everybody likes a thumbs up. And subscribe. It always makes us happy.
That's it. So we won't see you next week, but the week after, and in between we will have a couple of chit-chat episodes coming out.
Exactly, so look out for those because there's going to be a lot of laughter and a lot of information.
It sure is. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye, Sweet Pea.
Bye, Mummy Bear.